Welcome back, brothers and sisters of the chapter. This is Spruce and Studs, and we have yet another action figure to review from JoyToy that was just released not too long ago. And we're just coming off with basking in the glow of the glory of the Grey Knight Terminators. I just hope that this action figure is going to be as glowy as its Terminator cousins. Which one are we going to be reviewing today? Well, specifically, we're going to be reviewing the Captain with the heavy bolt rifle in Gravis armor. So without further ado, let's get right to it.
Slicing open, ripping open, the big unveiling.
Alright, we have the Captain with the master-crafted heavy bolt rifle in front of us. There are many eye candies to review, so let's just take a look at this master-crafted heavy bolt rifle right here. And a lot of things that are different about this bolt rifle is that you have this nice strap over here that's not included with many of the regular Primaris Space Marines. So this is a added little touch that JoyToy has offered for somebody of the captain stature. And then you have this shoulder stock over here that I don't think I've actually ever seen on a bolt rifle as well, which is another added feature. And you have this very interesting ribbon wrapped around this bolt rifle, which again further differentiates this from a regular bolt rifle. With regards to the look of the bolt rifle itself, I would have to say that this is a pretty clean look. JoyToy typically weathers their bolt rifles a lot more than this. So as you can see, this silver is actually very clean, is usually heavily dry brushed in all the Primaris bolt rifles that we've seen over here. Next thing that we're going to take a look at is this lovely master-crafted power sword. And this master-crafted power sword is actually quite different from the predecessors because the scabbard is very ornate looking, and another slight difference is that you can actually pull the sword out of the scabbard, which is a very cool touch that JoyToy has put in. And as you take a look at the painting on the power sword, it is no different from the rest of the power swords that have been done in the past. You have this very dark gunmetal silver that transitions to the light silver. I will have to say though, the shading got a little bit out of hand around this electric node over here, as well as over here. I wish they would have cleaned that up a little bit. So let's take a look at this Gravis Captain's backpack over here, and you will notice that this icon up here is also very different from what has been produced in the past. It's a nice little touch that JoyToy does put in on every single one of their action figures, and further sets this apart from its predecessors. So overall, very ornate, very unique up here. And as we flip over to the back of the backpack, you get to see the characteristic weathering that you find on every single one of the Primaris action figures. Now let's take a look at the cape itself. This buckle, I will have to point out, you will likely need to do some sort of manipulation with it. By manipulation, I mean that you're probably going to have to dunk this into hot water and slowly bend these areas into shape if you are running into the same issues that I'm running into right here, because these spikes are actually supposed to be straight like this one, not bent around like this. But in terms of the cape itself, it is made of a very soft material that all JoyToy capes are made of, and you again have this very weathered, dirty kind of look to it. Some people may or may not be a fan of. So we flip this around, you get a really nice shading where you have the shades in the very dark recesses and it lightens up in the ridges. However, I'll point out that JoyToy may have been a little bit too aggressive with the shading on here. So hopefully when you are receiving your action figure, you don't have this issue that I have over here. So let's just take a look at the Captain himself. The Gravis helmet looks pretty good, your standard Gravis Captain helmet. And taking a look at the pauldrons, I'll have to say that we have seen probably better pauldrons produced. This is probably one of the few action figures that I've seen that has the screen a little bit off, so you can tell that the yellows are actually not matching. And as we flip over to the other side, we have a very solid looking screened Ultramarines symbol over here. So as we look at the chest area, looks fairly decent and what we typically would expect from JoyToy. And looking at the belt and loincloth area, this loincloth actually has a nice tan color over here that transitions to a lighter beigey kind of look. I think JoyToy would have been okay with these areas that are recessed if they just use this dark tan color instead of trying to shade this, because this looks slightly over processed to me. And then taking a look at the lower region of the Space Marine Captain, you get some perfectly screened knees down here. A very nice looking icon down here as well. And then flipping around the back, you have this characteristic Gravis Captain, I suppose, hose that's going on. Okay, let's take a look at the articulation. So with the head, you are not able to get a 360-degree rotation. It's probably, I would have to say, limited to 90 degrees just because of this Gravis armor that's back here, as well as just the bulkiness of the head itself. So this is very limited in its rotation compared to his other battle brethren. The shoulder, once again, should be 360 degrees of rotation with a ratcheting mechanism that is involved. And another thing I wanted to point out is that you can actually push this arm in a little bit more. About the forearm area, it is 360 degrees of rotation. And there is actually two joints for the elbow area, one here and one here, so it allows you to do this once and then allows you to do this again. About the wrist area, it's 360 degrees, and then there is a nice range of motion with the wrist as well, so you can pose it however you want. From the chest to torso area, there's this wobble that's going on, and then from the torso to the waist is where you get the 360 degrees of rotation. With the legs, you should be able to get 360 degrees of rotation about the hip area, like you see there. And just like with the elbow area, you have 2 points of articulation in the knee area, so you can kick it out once and then kick it out again like that. And then finally with the ankle area, you are able to get some wobble for more balancing, and then finally you are able to get more balancing with the toes that you can do this with. Okay, let's outfit this captain so he can lead his troops into battle. So I was playing with this captain off camera, and I would have to say that these two accessories are probably the hardest to attach. I had a lot of issues with attaching the scabbard to the belt over here, and what I ended up using basically was a pair of tweezers that help guide this in. So I'll do it on camera as you see right here. But I think if you I tried to push this in with my regular hands, I really did not get anywhere, so I needed these tweezers help to actually push this thing in. You need to be careful too, because you might actually rip this area if you're too rough with it, because this is actually made of a very, very soft plastic. So there you go. The scabbard is on the belt, and we will put the sword into the scabbard itself. Another thing that I was struggling with too was putting this cape on the back of this Gravis Captain. The reason why I say that it is a bit of a struggle is because if you just fit it on exactly like this and then push it in, it doesn't really fit too well, because the cape actually gets in the way of the backpack being affixed securely to the body of the Gravis Captain. So it looks kind of funky like this. And I also tried to kind of basically stretch this cape over the backpack like so. And I'm not exactly sure if that's the proper look of how it's supposed to be. If you actually stretch this over the backpack, as you can see over here, you can actually get the backpack to fit snugly with the body of the Gravis Captain. However, the angle in which it's sitting looks a bit weird, in that this area should actually settle a little bit better than how it looks right now. Especially with this area, it does not look right if you stretch it over. So let me know in the comments section if you actually bought this action figure, how you actually put the cape on. So this, like I said, was a bit of a struggle for me. And then finally, you can outfit the captain with his master-crafted heavy bolt rifle, as you can see over here. All right, that is our deep dive into the captain with Gravis armor with heavy bolt rifle. So let me wrap this one up real quick. So this captain in Gravis armor with the master-crafted heavy bolt rifle, I think, has a lot of unique things that are going on with it. I really like the design of the master-crafted heavy bolt rifle, first of all. And then I really, really like the design of the master-crafted power sword, because these two things are basically unlike any of the other things that have been produced by JoyToy to date. I'll have to say the paint quality is actually about standard for what we expect from JoyToy, which means that if you have been watching my prior videos, there are definitely some issues with the painting. I have to say overall, this is a very unique character action figure. Now the $1 million or, well, maybe $50 to $60 question is this really worth your money in getting? I don't know, to be honest. I would have to say if you're a fan of the Ultramarines as well as heavy Gravis armor, yeah, you should probably pick this up. This is pretty cool. Anyways, let me know what you think of this action figure in the comment section. I'm curious to see exactly what you thought about it. I'm also curious to see how you position the cape on the back of this captain. So anyways, this is Sprues and Studs. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support and your continued viewership. I would not be here without you. So, as usual, I will see you all in the next one.